Then the disciples said, tell us what the signs will be. The first one that Jesus gave was the sign of deception. Said that you will be living in a time when you should not allow any man to deceive you. Take heed that no man deceive you. And we are living in a world of deception.
I have, you know, we were just talking about this today in the office with a couple of my producers. I said, look how the darkness doesn't understand the light. Look how people can't even agree on the truth anymore.
Exactly right.
You don't see anything the same anymore. We don't even understand each other, and I've never seen that in my life. It's an amazing phenomenon. Is that what you believe? That's what he was talking about.
Exactly right. We have come to a point in our existence where we refuse to take responsibility. We refuse to be accountable for our actions. We don't have the courage to say this is good and this is evil, this is right, this is wrong, and therefore we live in this fog of political correctness where everything is perpetual deception.
Okay, next sign.
Then he talks about famines, and then he talks about pestilence. A pestilence is a medical, physical disease that medical science cannot stop. For instance, right now, I have a very dear friend who's working in Washington on a serum for the bird flu. And this is a very serious person, a very responsible person. And he looked me in the face and said, John, I want to tell you that bird flu will come to America. We are not ready for it. And when it comes, he said, many people are going to die because we're not ready for it.
I have to tell you, I was up on the bird flu thing, and I'm concerned about the bird flu as well, but it's a giant if. It's got to jump over to people, and if it does, then it'll be a horrific thing.
Yes.
But we've gone through this. But you could have said that about the bubonic plague. You could have said that about the influenza before World War I. It killed millions of people.
Four of my father's brothers died with that.
Okay. So what is the difference here? You're just saying that. You're just saying that all of these other things are
all of these things line up together.
Okay.
There has never been another generation where you had the knowledge explosion, the birth of Israel, the birth of nuclear warfare, universal deception, famines, pestilence, and then he goes on to say earthquakes. Earthquakes have been something in the Bible that God has used from time to communicate with people who are spiritually deaf. Moses had a pastoral problem. About 20,000 people didn't like him as the leader. God said, get those people in front of the tent of meetings, and I want to talk to them. And they got in front of the tent of meetings, God opened the ground and buried them. The message was, Moses is my man.
We haven't really seen an increase in earthquakes, though.
I believe that the specific record of the number of earthquakes has dramatically increased every century from the 15th century. I do have those numbers, and they have virtually doubled in the 20th century from the 19th century. But the point that I'm making out here is that when we reach the end of days, there's going to be an earthquake that is going to be, in vernacular words, the mother of all earthquakes, where the mountains are going to be reduced, where the islands of the sea will disappear, where I believe that the geography of Jerusalem and Israel are going to be reshaped, where the water flows from beneath the throne of God down to the Dead Sea, and the 12 trees are there for the fruit for the ages to eat, by which they will have perpetual health.
Do you believe that global warming is a possible sign?
I don't believe in global warming.
You don't believe the Earth is getting warmer?
No.
Really?
No.
No changes?
No.
Okay. So what is the next sign? Well, I mean, you know, I believe it's getting warmer. Science tells us it's getting warmer.
Yeah.
I don't believe man is causing it. I don't believe that maybe man is causing it. I'm not convinced of that. I definitely don't think we can solve it. But I mean, the Earth is constantly cycling. We've seen for forever that it gets colder and warmer and colder and warmer.
I'm certainly for clean air and clean water, but I have books in my library written by very responsible people up into the middle 80s. We're talking about the Ice Age, where Canada was supposed to be a block of ice right now. And now we're talking about global warming, and I think the Kyoto Treaty is really nothing more than something to manipulate the economy of the United States.
Yeah, it's global socialism. Okay,
Yes,
quickly, give me that, because I've only got a minute.
Okay,
so give me the rest.
The next one is international television. Now, how does that work out? In the book of Revelation, in the 11th chapter, you have two witnesses that the Antichrist has killed. And the Bible says the world is going to see them in 1 hour. How How in heaven's name could they see two dead people in the streets of Jerusalem at one time? That was not true in 1950. That was not true in my grandfather's generation. It's only true in our generation.
I remember people saying that when we saw Tiananmen Square.
Yes.
Remember the guy standing with a tank, and the whole world stopped to watch that on the other side of the planet.
Yes.
And I remember people saying that very thing. This is a sign.
Absolutely.
One of the signs. Okay, is that all 10?
And the last one is the sign of the scoffer. 2 Peter says, there will come in the last days scoffers saying, where's the sign of his coming, the coming of Christ? The very fact that there's skepticism, so much skepticism, saying you people are crazy believing in this, is a literal sign that Christ is going to appear.
Okay, when we come back, we're going to show you some eerie similarities in the ways that Christians and Muslims see the end of days, and are they upon us? Also, what does it look like? What can we do? Et cetera, coming up.